Hi guys, it's Kiana back with Browns All Around, and tonight I am back with a video, and I have a one pot meal for mothers like me. This is my easy, affordable chicken Alfredo that I have a recipe for you to follow in just a few. So you'll have one bowl. You will need heavy whipping cream, about 32 ounces or 1 quart of heavy whipping cream, 2 sticks of butter, not margarine, but butter, salted or unsalted. You'll need 8 ounces of cream cheese. You can use the store brand if you're trying to save some money. I just prefer the Philadelphia cream cheese. You'll need 8 ounces of Parmesan cheese that you'll later grate into that bowl. But it has to be the real Parmesan cheese, not the grated or powdered stuff off of the spaghetti aisle, not the Parmesan cheese over where the other cheeses are in the refrigerated section. This cheese comes from the deli section. It's all natural Parmesan cheese from Belgioioso. That's just a particular brand that I like to use, but it's the hard, good stuff. And then you'll need a pasta of your choice. You can use bow tie pasta, you can use rigatoni, you can use penne, you can use spaghetti. But tonight I am using fettuccine for classic fettuccine chicken Alfredo. Two 16-ounce boxes or 2 pounds of pasta is what's going to do for my big family of 7. You can put anything into this pasta dish that you'd like, shrimp, crab meat, a combination of the two. Tonight I am using Tyson's grilled and ready chicken breast strips, all natural chicken that is absolutely delicious and juicy and already cooked for convenience and tastes so good you don't even have to add seasoning to it. So let's get started. I am going to first start with my heavy whipping cream and turning my eye on medium to medium high heat and adding my heavy whipping cream to my saucepan, making sure to get every little drop. And the next thing that I'm going to add to the heavy whipping cream is my 2 sticks of butter. You can use salted, unsalted. You can use a combination of the two, or two unsalted, two salted, but just make sure that it is butter and not margarine. And the cheese and some other ingredients lend to the saltiness of the dish, so I do one salted and one unsalted stick of butter. The next thing that you're going to add to the saucepan is going to be your cream cheese, and 8 ounces of cream cheese is what you'll need. So I just choose to use the Philadelphia cream cheese when I'm trying to save money. Then, of course, I'll get the store brand. The Philadelphia cream cheese seems to be a little bit creamier in the sauce. So when I can, that's what I use. And this is all going to melt down together, but you'll notice that the cream cheese is what's going to take the longest to melt down. So sometimes I'll even cut my cream cheese up into smaller pieces or smaller little chunks so that it will melt down into the sauce a little bit quicker. But it's something that takes a little bit of time. So while that's going on in the pan, I will prepare my chicken strips. Um, I'll take my electric skillet off to the side and add my frozen chicken strips just to cook them through while my heavy whipping cream, butter, and cream cheese are slowly melting their way into one another. And you really don't have to cook the chicken because it's actually already cooked. You just have to heat it through, basically melting the ice off of the frozen chicken. But the Tyson chicken is really good. Um, I also like to add a little butter or margarine or oil to the skillet just to ensure that the chicken doesn't stick because it will start to brown on either side. So back to the stovetop, I have the cream cheese and the butter and the whipping cream still melting together on the stove. Make sure you stir it pretty consistently. As you can see, the cream cheese is the one, as I said before, that is going to take the longest time to melt. So now I'm going to grate up my Parmesan cheese. Again, this is the Parmesan cheese from the deli section. It's a hard block, and I'm grating it. I probably won't use all 8 ounces of this cream cheese, about 6 ounces, as it gets a little difficult to grate as you get to the top. Um, but we'll take about 6 ounces. Now back to the chicken in the electric skillet. As you can see, it's starting to brown on either side. It's a little easier now to pull the chicken strips into a single layer since they are starting to brown. And a nice crispy coat on either side ensures that the chicken doesn't get soggy in the sauce once you add it to your Alfredo sauce. And you don't have to add it to the sauce. Of course, you can put it off to the side, or however you like to do it. It's completely up to you. But that's just how I prefer to do it. Now I'm going to go back to the grated Parmesan cheese that I have. And as you can see, I didn't use the whole block, about 6 ounces. And I'm going to add this grated Parmesan cheese to the melted ingredients on the stove top that are still on a simmer. Adding the freshly grated Parmesan cheese, I'll actually start to stir that in, and it will melt and incorporate fairly quickly into the hot pasta sauce. And you might want to go ahead and turn it down to a medium-low heat right now as the cheese incorporates into the sauce. And as you can see, there's still a few pieces of cream cheese that haven't completely melted, but that's perfectly okay. It'll all come together. Um, After stirring in the Parmesan cheese, I'm going to allow just a few minutes for the cheese to fully incorporate into the sauce and melt, and then come back to a bit of a simmer. And the more you stir, the more you'll realize that the cream cheese will go ahead and melt into your sauce. The next thing that I'm going to do after this sauce comes to a little simmer again is add some seasonings. And this is completely optional, so you don't have to add the seasonings. The sauce will still be perfectly fine without it. But my favorite is ground black pepper. So I'll add about 1 teaspoon of ground black pepper into the sauce. And the next thing I'll add is about a half a teaspoon of dried Italian herbs and seasonings into the sauce. And you can get that anywhere at your dollar store or local grocery store for relatively inexpensive cost. And then last but certainly not least, I'll add just a pinch of salt to the sauce. It doesn't need much salt. The Parmesan cheese, the salted butter, and the cream cheese lend to the saltiness of the dish, and you don't want it to be, of course, over salted. So stirring that in to make sure that all the herbs and seasonings and pepper and salt are completely incorporated into the sauce and you don't see them floating around on the top will ensure that it's very well incorporated. So just stir, 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 and continue to stir to get it all well incorporated. And you can see the sauce is starting to thicken, and it'll continue to thicken as the sauce cools. So don't worry if your sauce looks a little thin right now. It's perfectly okay. So after stirring, I'm going to start to add my crispy chicken strips to the sauce. And like I said before, there's a number of different options. You don't have to use chicken. You don't have to add the chicken to the sauce. You can use shrimp, crab meat, of course chicken like I am. You can even add vegetables to the sauce, and it should still be just fine. Or a combination of any of those meat and meat and vegetables to the sauce. So while that continues to cook over here, I'm going to go to my pasta water that I have boiling. I'm going to salt my boiling water. Make sure your water is boiling before you add the pasta to the sauce. Pasta to the water. And then I'll add about 1 tablespoon of cooking oil into the boiling water before I add my pasta, just to make sure that the noodles don't stick together. I like to break my noodles in half because I can get more in the pot, of course, and I don't have to worry about some of the noodles sticking out and the ones that are in the water cooking and the ones that are out of the water not cooking, just so I can get an even cook on the pasta. I like to break my noodles up and then add them to the water. So I said I had 2 16-ounce boxes of pasta, and that usually would work for my family. But I don't even think I ended up using two entire boxes, like a box and a half. And I have a large family of seven, so we'll definitely even have more leftover. So this is a good dish to have leftover, so you can have the next day either for lunch or to take to work or whatever. So here's the half of the second box. And then I'll take a pasta spoon and just stir in the pot some to break up the noodles to make sure they don't clump together and make sure the oil can coat the noodles individually, because I hate when pasta noodles stick together. Once my pasta is done, you just add the sauce and meat and vegetables and whatever else you have in your sauce to the pasta and stir. I like to let mine sit for a few minutes just to make sure that the pasta noodles soak up the sauce some. It just makes it taste that much better. This is definitely a one pot meal that tastes really good, if not better, the second day, just like spaghetti. It's really quick. You have just made your own homemade pasta Alfredo sauce with chicken in like 30 minutes. It didn't even take 30 minutes, probably. It's really delicious. It's a big hit with my family, and I've got kids ranging in ages from 5 all the way up to 20. It's a really quick weeknight meal that I can make after a long 12-hour shift at the hospital and have leftovers the next day. So just stir. You can allow it to sit or you can serve it immediately. I am going to go ahead and plate my pasta so we can get to eating. Just take a little bit and put on a plate, or a lot, depending on the size of your family member. Make sure you get some chicken in there, and you can serve it, like I said, all together. You can put the vegetables on the side, a little freshly grated Parmesan cheese on the top, add a little sprinkle of dried parsley just for aesthetics for this video, of course. And I chose to make garlic bread tonight, so I'll add a slice of nice toasted garlic bread to the side. This will be wonderful with a salad. Um, but that's dinner in under 30 minutes. I hope you all enjoy. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the Browns All Around channel, and you can see more easy, affordable dishes to make for a large or small family during the week. Thanks, guys. Hit the notification bell.